What's happening?
Hi everyone, and we are live once again. Welcome to another episode of Raising Vibes with the Robs.
Raising Vibes with the Rob. If y'all can't see, I am stunting with this new jacket I got. Thank you to Dead Lady's Closet in The Witch of Altamonte. Miss Karen is wearing something very special.
It's actually a Smithsonian piece. If you can tell, I don't know the actual name of it, but it kind of looks like a moo type of thing. For those that are on the podcast and can't see me, it looks like a moo, but like a shamanic moo with blues and tribal.
And Lucy is attacking mommy right now.
She's attacking me.
Okay.
Oh goodness. Anyways, welcome guys. We wanted to go ahead and do this episode specifically because we have noticed that wherever we go on our spiritual journey and visit all these other amazing shops and get to meet a lot of people and stuff, we do notice that there is a lack of male presence. So I don't know if that's coordinated with the fact that it's too woo-woo. I don't know if it's the fact that men are just maybe not interested, but I don't believe that that's the truth. I think that is a little more internal. Therefore, what I came to the realization, and tell me whether it is or not, is the fact that it has to do with feeling a lot of emotions and dealing with emotions and going deep and diving deep into that realm.
Yeah.
So that may be it. And as I was telling Benji, I feel as though men are being suppressed, whether you feel like you are or not. I feel, and this is my point of view as a woman, as I identify as one, just the fact that men are always being told, no, don't feel this, don't feel that, don't act on this, act on manly, quote unquote, emotions like anger, violence, and things like that. And they don't seem to be too in tune into the feminine energy.
Well, something I want to mention is okay, so we find it okay to go work on our bodies in the gym, 3 to 5 times a week.
Mm-hmm.
And get swole, and we want to look good and all this stuff, and play basketball and play golf and play all these sports, but we don't want to work on the internal self. We don't want to work on the soul. And it's I think that there's a part of us that loses control and feels like we're not in control of that part because we don't even know where to start.
Mm-hmm.
And I've noticed that there's no men that are in spirituality, especially straight men.
Mm-hmm.
There's none. But I would like to change that.
Or very little. I mean, we really haven't gone too much into a lot of places or events, but yeah,
right.
This is what we've noticed.
For the most part, this is what we've noticed.
Yeah.
And I think it comes from, a belief that there's not enough time maybe in their day to do this kind of stuff because they're too busy, trying to pay the bills or trying to do this, that, and the other. But the truth is you have to make time for this kind of stuff. You have to make time for your spirit, for your mental health, for your self-care. A lot of guys don't do that.
What I think is very important to know, and this is not just geared towards men, all of humanity, is the fact that there isn't a lot of, sure, there are books out there that teach you about emotions. There are, little niche places that you can learn about these things, but it's not publicly wide knowledge. You have to be able to seek it in order to find it. And I think that that's extremely disappointing because part of self-care, it's not just going to a spa and getting a massage and doing a facial.
Right.
Is sitting down with yourself and dealing with that inner child of yours and trying to find out whether that inner child is angry, is sad, is depressed, is happy, whatever it is. And dealing with those emotions is very tough. Even me as a woman, I have a hard time, dealing with emotions, but it's something that you can do. And I applaud you for being able to go outside of the norm to do that. And I don't know what the word is, but like I challenge you men that are listening to, you don't necessarily have to be spiritual or go to a spiritualist camp or anything like that. Go to church if that's something that you feel like, that's if that's what your spiritual journey is. Go to church, pray. If you are one of those people that don't believe in gods or deities or anything like that, meditate. Do something for yourself that involves emotions and introspecting in those emotions, and see what happens. But be truthful. Be truthful with yourself, because sometimes, just doing a certain I don't know what I'm trying to say. Just like doing a little action, but not following up on it is just, if you're going to lie to yourself and say, well, I really don't need this, I really don't need that. I'm not saying that men are saying that they're perfect and they don't need work, because that's just unrealistic to think.
Right.
But, for you to be able to take some time to yourself and nourish that portion, that part of you, the mind and the emotions.
That's a big part of it, is taking time for yourself, because we as men are afraid to be alone a lot of the time. I mean, I know a lot of my friends who used to literally sit in their car and wait for me to like go to a movie. And this was like when we were in our 20s. I'm like, wow, what are you doing? Like, so I'd like to challenge you guys out there, if you haven't done this yet, go to a movie by yourself, because it's the most empowering thing that you can do. And like, I might sound a little crazy when I say that, but like literally go by yourself. You can choose the movie, you can eat all the popcorn you want, you can drink all the Coke you want. You don't have to worry about, how the other person feels about the movie or whatever. Just go.
It's cheaper.
It's cheaper. Go by yourself and like notice the change that like, oh shit, I'm by myself at the theater. Or even what's even crazier is to go into a restaurant and eat by yourself, right? And don't go to the bar. Don't take the cheap way out. Go table for one. You know what I'm saying? Table for one, and be vulnerable enough to say, I'm here by myself eating.
Yeah. Challenge yourself, because the thing is, what you're going to feel is, I would assume, it's the same as what I felt when I started doing that and I first became single after, many, many years in a relationship. I went to the movies by myself. I thought it was fine because it was dark and I was distracted. Then I went to eat something at a restaurant and it was completely different. I was like, oh my God, everybody's thinking about me. Everybody's looking at me. Everybody's thinking, why is she by herself? Is she waiting on? I mean, my mind just went nuts.
Yeah.
And I was shaming myself for other people. You have to understand that you are enough as a man. You are enough. Women get to hear that all the time because us as women, we empower ourselves. I don't believe that men have that. And if you do, oh my God, please share this with us so that other men can feel that way.
Right.
Because it's extremely important. Here's the thing. For me, what I'm looking at in what's currently happening in society, women and our bodies are being suppressed. They're making laws for all the suppression because it's part of our expression, our bodies. I mean, we're sexual beings. Women are sensual by nature. And it's part of that feminine energy, So men now, they're constantly being suppressed by saying, don't feel, emotions are not this. Anything that could be seen as female ish, I'm sorry for the words I'm gonna say, but you're being called pussies, you're called bitches, you're being talked down to. Right. And it's a form of slavery, guys. It really is. You're being suppressed.
I mean, to say that because I'm wearing pink, that I'm a B word, like, do y'all even know, like, that purple is, like, the color of royalty, and that, like, it was, like, the hardest color to make back in the medieval times, and that's why purple was held to such prestige, and these colors, like, these pinks and these, they were tough to make.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, when I'm wearing this stuff,
It took money.
like, back then, they would have looked at me like, man, like, Lord
he
Benjamin.
must be rich.
Yeah.
Type of thing.
But now they look at me like, oh, he must be woke, or he must be, you know, one of these, you know, millennials, or one of these Gen Zers or whatever. But nah, man, I'm free. I'm a free spirit. I don't care what you think about me. I will wear this pink jacket. Like, I don't care.
Listen, one of the things that I learned growing up was what the closest person to me growing up was my brother. And he loves to take care of himself. And I noticed that, and I was like, that's awesome. Because I'm one of those people that likes to, you know, just observe, right? And I observed that. And he shared with me, you know, a really bad example, unfortunately, that my mom didn't know about, but she used those negative connotations towards him.
Because he was cosmetically taking care of himself?
Yeah.
Like brushing his teeth and stuff?
No, not brushing his teeth, but what they used to call metrosexual at that point, you know.
Oh.
You would dress to look good. So you would, you know, style your hair, spend longer time in the bathroom to take care of yourself.
I mean, I used to go to school in 3rd grade with some gel in my pocket and a comb, so I know what it's about.
How crazy is that?
Yeah.
Was it because you were ashamed of doing it at home, or?
No, I think it was because if my hair messed up, I could fix it.
Okay.
I was more of a perfectionist.
Got it.
And I was extremely metrosexual.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of that has to do with my female energy, which I'm learning.
Yeah. Actually, just as a side note here, Benjamin naturally has female energy, feminine energy.
Right.
I naturally have male energy. And our task as humans, part of our journey is to learn the opposite.
Right.
Which is, I believe, is one of the reasons why we were attracted to each other.
Yeah, we're yin and yang, for sure. And that balances our home, it balances our life. I didn't realize I had feminine energy until Kieran kind of pointed it out to me, and I was like, wow, I do have feminine energy. I love a lot of stuff that females love. I'm more into my emotions, which she's talking about. She's more able to set aside her emotions and look at the things of factual stuff and all this, but I'm more of an emotional person. So
yeah, he's more feel emotion. Right. I'm more of a let's cut that out, let's do, you know, type of thing, actions. But both are very well needed for us human beings to be able to achieve balance in our lives.
And I mean, don't get it twisted. Like, I will still, like, rep fucking 250, 300 pounds. I will still beat your ass, like, if you come up on me. Like, I'm
just
saying that having a female energy is like saying that you're somehow less or some shit. Like, no, like, I feel like I'm more.
Look at the female warriors that have, you know, come out on, you know, in the whole entire Earth's history.
Right.
Badassery all over. But it's not just females. It's males too. And males can go ahead and tap into that energy and be badass in a different way.
Right.
I'm not saying go ahead, go to the spa, paint your nails if you don't want to. Whatever makes you comfortable, but I challenge you to do something outside of your comfort zone. See how it feels. You don't like it? Fuck it. Go back into your own little comfort zone. That's fine. But at least you tried. You know what I mean? Just opening up to that world will open up a whole new realm of possibilities. I gotta tell you one thing. Already you guys know Benji is an extremely attractive man. But I've never seen him attract flocks of women until he got in touch with his spirituality. And like he started becoming himself more, being true to his nature, which is the feminine energy. And they flock to you. I mean, it's kind of like if you saw like the old, he's here dusting off his shoulders like, yeah. But it's attractive because I'm here thinking the woman in me, first of all, I was like, wait a minute, hands off, right? But then I introspected and I was like, why? Why is it that I'm feeling that way? And then it's like, well, this guy is just attracting people. And it's fine. It's 100% fine because those women are pretty much just hoping and wishing that their men would be able to do the same thing with them.
I think it comes down to vibrations. It's all about vibrations.
Right.
Like we said before. And if I'm able to tap into a frequency, as a male, if I'm able to tap into that female frequency,
Mm-hmm.
then I'm able to attract more of that frequency too. Because I think there's a difference between a male vibration and a female vibration.
Mm-hmm.
I do, personally. So that just makes me more of a balanced person. I'm able to understand more people. And as a shaman, I want to be able to help females and males. I don't want to just be able to help one realm of person. Like there's a lot of people at these conferences and stuff that are like, this is a ladies only retreat. I understand, but there's like none that are like, hey, this is a male only retreat. Like,
that we found.
That we found so far. The ones that are tend to be very expensive. Tend to be in like South Africa.
$700 just to do certain things, and this is my own personal opinion. I'm sorry to cut you off there,
no.
But I feel so passionate about this. And you can ask. Well, I don't even know if he even remembers me, but David, the guy that used to go to our church, we would write songs together, and the pastor wanted to profit off of that. He was against it. I was like, my point of view was, listen, as long as the message gets to the person, I don't care if they're taking the money that of whatever the profit of my hard work, because what I want to know is that the person get the message, because that to me is the most valuable thing.
Mm-hmm.
And when I come across people that are telling me that I can learn XYZ by attending their class that is extremely expensive, I'm talking about like ridiculously expensive. I'm not saying like $60 or $80 or anything like that, but even then sometimes some people can't even afford that. Right. And that's what it's coming down to. And I feel like, do your thing if that's you, but I want to be that person that wants to give you the knowledge that I have come across for free, because it benefits you, it helps you grow. That is more valuable than any amount of money in this whole entire world.
Right, because us as spiritualists, we want to see everyone be happy. We want to see other spiritualists. We want to see other people go, oh, now I'm relieved, I'm free. We want to see that. We don't want to see y'all like, oh, we got to pay $1,000 just to like.
Yeah, it's expensive to do this. When it's life already is expensive.
Mm-hmm. So
I completely agree with what you're saying there. Now, one of the things that led me to this was just the fact that there was a quick, I'm getting into my notes now, so we about to get studious, people. It was a quick video on Instagram where this lady is talking about a book that she read. I'm gonna have to come back to that book because I didn't quite see it, but it was about emotions. It was teaching you about emotions and how to deal with emotions, which is something that, I'm sorry, I haven't ever learned from our teachers, from my preachers, pastors, you know what I mean? So I thought that it was very interesting that she was like, growing up, I saw my mother and my father argue a lot, and I saw them both get angry. And there was one day that I just decided I'm never going to be like them, ever. So she decided to suppress all that anger that she would naturally feel in her regular everyday to day life, in certain situations. And she would just be like, nope, I'm not going to be that way. I'm going to go the quote unquote higher road, right? And she found out that through her struggles of her relationship, her husband or boyfriend or partner, whatever he is to her, he would be like, whoa, 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 what's happening? Because all of a sudden she just went, blah, she started erupting with rage at this point, right? And it was all the suppression of the anger that she was, doing throughout all these years. I learned that emotions are a way for our bodies to guide us to be able to handle the situation that is currently in front of us. So this is what I found in Britannica.com, and you can look it up. Emotions essentially are energy plus motion. So they define it as a complex experience of consciousness, bodily sensations and behaviors that reflects the personal significance of a thing, event, or a state of affairs, So I went deeper into it, and I was like, okay, so what does the word emotion mean? The Latin root for the word emotion is movere. For those who speak Spanish, mover, moving. So what does that mean? To move out, or to move through. That is the whole entire point when you're feeling that emotion, especially what you but what we define as negative emotions.
Right.
We have to move through them.
Right.
And our bodies are naturally giving us responses and guidance by feeling anger, feeling angst, feeling sorrow, feeling happiness, joy, and all that stuff.
So the negative ones are anger, anxiety, depression,
fear. Right.
So the only way to get past those is to deal with them?
Get in it, and like the word says, emovere, to move through, so you can move out of it. And in turn, learn your lesson and grow. That is what we want. Well, I want to see. I know you definitely want to see that too. But as far as I'm concerned, a spiritualist, that's what we want for the world. Because we are a community. Whether or not you like the person next to you, we are all still connected spiritually. And the person's vibration can affect my vibration, because as we learned, vibrations is double the amount of your wingspan.
Right.
So if you look at it that way, and I'm standing next to Benjamin right now, and I'm spreading my arms, my wingspan, and it's 10 more feet of that. So I'm affecting you, you're affecting me. Lucy, that's right here, her vibrations are affecting me.
And we're even affecting the people that might be in our apartment downstairs.
Because it works that way. It's like a huge, just picture a big ball, pretty much, of energy. Just because you can't see it doesn't mean it's not there, right? So we want to make sure that you understand what emotions are and where they come from, so that you can be able to get past through all of that, because emotions are very hard. And like I said, for men, they aren't taught. I mean, us as women, we weren't, as far as I'm concerned, I wasn't taught how to deal with my emotions. But it was easier as I got through life, because I came across women whom I confided in, and we talked. And we talked about emotions. We talked about our life. We talked about this. But nothing was left in the dark.
I can tell you that when I would have anxiety problems at my place of work, when I was able to talk to somebody about it openly, that would make it so much better, because they understood what I was going through.
Right.
So
communication.
If you feel some type of way, if you feel anxious, if you feel angry, if you feel, depressed, and you're at work, tell your boss, tell your coworkers, tell your significant other, because once you communicate that out, it feels so much better. It feels like the stress is like, leaving you. Like, okay, now that at least they understand what I'm going through.
Mm-hmm.
Because the hardest thing for me was to like tell my father, hey, I have to go to the hospital again because I'm out of pills.
The shame would come over
The
you.
shame would come over me,
Mm-hmm.
and then we'd have to go to the hospital, and then from there I would either end up in a rehab, I would end up in a psych ward, I would end up the doctor might say, okay, we can fill up the script for a week, and I'd be like, oh, that's awesome. But so what happened to me was I ended up turning to the actual medicine to suppress my anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
But what I've learned is that I was going through the dark night of the soul,
Mm-hmm.
which it's not just a night. For me, it was a time, I think I've mentioned before in the podcast, maybe not, where my anxiety hit me like this when I was in the hospital
Mm-hmm.
with a bowel obstruction. I was watching American Horror Story, and it's like the first season, and this teacher gets murdered out of nowhere. And at this time, I was like a teacher. I was a coach to the kids, and it just like got all real way too fast for me. And I had a panic attack, and my sister was next to me, and she was like, just get this guy something to calm him down. And they gave me that, whatever it was that calmed me down. And, you know, still to this day, I'm working on getting off that particular medicine.
Thank goodness for
But
healing, man.
that was like when I was 24, and now I'm 34. So it's been like
10 years.
literally a 10-year dark night of the soul.
Right.
So finally, I'm starting to come out the other side better,
Mm-hmm.
and it might take that long for some of us. Like, I had to go through some crazy shit. I had to like lose my son. I had to lose, you know, the place I was living. I had to lose my job that I loved. I had to, you know, now lose my whole colon. But at the end of the day, I am a better person because of it. I can tell you that I struggled for 10 years. It was hell on earth, but now it is heaven on earth because I can understand why I went through it.
Mm-hmm.
I can understand that there was purpose behind it,
Mm-hmm.
and that emotion is starting to pass.
Mm-hmm.
It really is. It's starting to pass. I'm getting less and less medication
Right.
because I'm opening up to this whole different world. So,
And what I want to ask you is that didn't happen overnight. Obviously, it took the 10 years, but it could have been shorter
oh yeah,
if you had the knowledge
oh yeah,
that all you had to do is deal with those emotions and look within
right.
for the answers.
Right. I thought it was everywhere else but me.
Right. Right.
I thought that when they were training me to do all this deep breathing stuff and all this stuff, and they just do the basics of it, they don't really go too far into meditation and how, you know, you have all these the chakras,
Mm-hmm.
and how, you know, the vibrations and stuff. That helps with the mental health stuff, man.
Mhm.
It helps so much.
Absolutely.
To know that you can always go to that deep breathing to calm yourself,
Right.
because the physical reaction comes after the emotion,
Right.
right? So when you have that emotion, instead of having a physical reaction of like, I'm freaking out, you just,
Take a deep breath.
it's okay, I'm grounding.
In through the nose, out the mouth.
Yeah, and I'm grounding, and then it's like, it's crazy how good that works.
Yeah.
And
It helps the body reset. It helps the mind calm down and shut the F up,
Mhm.
because it's very hard. I mean, I haven't had anxiety in the severity that you have had. But from my own experience and an overthinking mind and autism, all I have to say is 24/7, this thing is going,
Right.
whether I like it or not. And spiritualism has taught me that I can work with my body, not against it, not shove medicine down my throat. Although I'm not saying that medicine is bad, I'm not saying that doctors aren't needed.
sometimes you need that, which I think I needed that to actually calm myself down enough
Right.
to learn the practices. Because
Right.
when you're in a constant state of flight or fight, you can't necessarily just go, all right, I'm just going to meditate. Like, you're freaking out.
Yeah.
So sometimes you do need the medicine that is prescribed by a doctor
Mm-hmm.
to calm your nerves enough to practice this, and then you can slowly wean off of it, or you can, stop taking it or whatever. But do it with the doctor's consultations. But they're also here to help. Like I'm saying, like this is not against like big pharma or anything, because big pharma has helped me too in ways.
What we're trying to say is be self-sufficient.
Right.
Listen to your body. You don't have to be a spiritual guru to listen to your body, to listen to your own emotions. I want to go ahead and touch a little bit more on that. I found that there is a difference between feelings and emotions. Emotions start as sensations in the body. So that's like the either red flag or the green flag, right? That comes up. Feelings are generated from our thoughts about our emotions. So they're the step 2 of it. I believe that a lot of people, including myself, I've been there, get stuck in the feelings, which is up here in the mind, than in the emotion. So the whole entire point is whenever you are in a state of, let's just say anger, because that's one of the easiest ones to, right? When you're in that moment of anger, I found myself during practice is you do that introspect. You kind of go inside. Yeah, the person is yelling at you and telling you your point of view, but you look and you quiet your mind. You go, why am I angry? Why is this causing me so much anger that I'm shaking from the inside out? Why do I want to freaking kill this person?
Does it stem from jealousy?
Right.
Does it stem from
fear, anxiety, whatever it is, right? And your body is going to literally start letting you know little by little. But what happens is while you're doing this, it's a form of meditation. And the person on the outside doesn't know, but they're still talking and pointing fingers and blah, 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 blah. But by the time you come back into yourself, you've already gotten enough answers at least to be able to calm yourself down and not just also listen to the person across from you, but listen to yourself. And what happens is communication ends up resolving the issue.
Right.
When we're angry, we get this blindfold put in our eyes, and it's very hard to see. And all we see is just the anger that we feel. But know that there is a way out. There's a shortcut to this, guys. And I'm just finding out about this. I mean, we're not self-proclaimed gurus or anything, but we are right. But we are proclaiming our power because we know who we are now, and now we're able to say, "Hi, I'm Benjamin, shaman."
Right.
Right. I can say, "Hi, I'm Karen, witch." Right? Because we have done the work and found out who we are. So I found out that besides feelings that are let me start over. Feelings are how we interpret the emotions, right? So emotions are there to drive our actions. So for example, flight or fight. They tell others what we're dealing with as stressors and may need support. So in an argument, at that point, you as the person who is arguing with me, you should be able to, in a perfect world, right? You should be able to say, whoa, my wife is angry. Hold on, what's going on? This is unlike her.
Right.
What do you need? And look at it from that perspective. Instead of, well, no, you know what? You told me to put in the dishes and I did it, and now you're telling me I did them wrong. Like, what the hell? You know, type of thing.
Because it builds on itself. It continues to build. It continues to build
Yeah.
until it's just too much. And what we like to do when we argue is we nip it right in the butt. We don't even like let it go a second, because you let that linger, you're wasting your life. You don't have to
let it linger.
You're wasting your entire life, like sitting there being petty and arguing about something that you shouldn't even be arguing about, or holding a grudge that you shouldn't be holding. Like,
It's just not healthy for you guys
No.
and girls. And when we're understand that when we're talking about male energy and female energy, it's just the way that our world works. We have to be able to explain things so that we can understand how the world works. And unfortunately, for those that are wanting to, what's it called, express themselves and say, hi, I am they, or I am them, we're trying to catch up, guys. Your time is coming where, the rest of the world is going to slowly but surely at least understand.
Right.
So I'm sorry that right now the verbiage that we are currently using isn't necessarily matching to, the belief of yourself, but I promise you it is coming from good intentions, and it's just for the purposes of you understanding. There was something that I wanted to mention was emotions tell us something important in our life is changing or needs attention. There are certain emotions that I wrote down. One of the biggest ones that I wanted to touch on are fear and anger, which fear also goes in with anxiety.
Right.
The chart that I found said the action for fear and anxiety is usually get away, avoid it, right? Or avoid the person.
That's the flight part.
Right. Then the communication part of the fear and anxiety is danger. There's threat.
Right.
So what is the actual need though? The need is safety. You feel unsafe.
Right.
But you act like there's the sirens are going off in your head, but no one else can see them or hear them.
And they are going off like no one would ever imagine. When you're in, you people that suffer from anxiety know exactly what I'm talking about. There are sirens going on in your head. You feel like you're gonna die at any minute, any second. And to the outside world, you may look crazy, but
Yeah.
I understand completely what you're going through.
Yeah.
And I want to say that it's going to be a challenge, but it's going to be worth the challenge. You're going to have to literally come to your safe place inside of yourself. So you're going to have to find this safe place of your higher self, which is what I did. I basically saw my higher self in a safe place, and then my higher self was like, you're safe. And then all of a sudden, I'm safe.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Right. So for those who don't know about the higher self or anything, just to go ahead and make sure that you understand. Another way that you can say that is just go inward. Just
Right.
go inside to that child that you were. Just picture yourself at 6 or 5 years old and talk to that child as if it was literally physically there. And tell them, you feel unsafe, let me help you get to a safe place. Guide yourself. You can do this. Guys, the same powers that we have, you have. That's what I'm trying to get at. This is my personal goal, guys. I want to let you know you're a badass, you're powerful, and you can move mountains physically if you want to. You have that ability. Everybody, every human being
Yep.
has been born with that God-like ability.
Yep.
So the other,
Because we are God.
right, because God is in us.
Correct.
So we're almost running out of time here. We're going into 38 minutes now, but I wanted to touch on the anger here.
This was
So-
supposed to be just a quick 5-minute video.
I'm so sorry, but so many good things. So real quickly, so for anger, the action is usually attack or assert,
Mm-hmm.
right? The communication is someone is taking advantage or it's not fair, right? Essentially, right? But what is the need there? The need when you feel the anger, right? What your body's trying to tell you is you need protection or you need to draw a boundary.
I think a lot of the times we need to draw a boundary.
That definitely is true for myself.
Yeah.
So, guys, please, males, females, whoever, just know that you have everything inside of you that you need to be able to succeed in this life. nurture yourself. And gentlemen, I applaud you for being extremely strong in the times that, you know, society and history has shunned you away from, you know, the goodness of life in the form of female energy. It is very hard to suppress and live, you know, with carpets full of emotions that you're constantly tripping over.
I'll tell you what, no, it feels so free to let go
It does.
and to be myself and to not even have to worry about anybody else and what they think of me. And like, I can be my authentic self. Like, it's awesome. Like, I can still listen to Kanye in my pink jacket.
Right.
And I mean, Kanye would probably wear this, but I'm just saying,
Most
like,
likely, yeah.
but I'm just saying, like, I can go out for beers with the dudes like this if I wanted to. Like, I'm not gonna, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not scared about what people think of me, because at the end of the day, it's their loss. You know what I'm saying? It's their loss.
It's however it is that you feel that there's a part of you that you have not cultivated, that has been suppressed. Go ahead and give it a shot. It doesn't have to be right away. It doesn't have to be in front of, you know, your friends or your family. Just do it in the car. Do it in the bathroom. If you feel that, you know, you're not ready to be out there and just, you know, do whatever it is that, like, oh, I've always wanted to go and get my toenails painted or go to, you know, the spa, but I've always felt shame of that because I'm a man and I have to, you know, no, get rid of that. I challenge you. Go ahead and do something for yourself. Just yourself that would be considered feminine. Okay? That is your homework. I'm sorry that I'm putting homework on you guys, but this is important. You come first. It's time that you take control of your life and yourself.
You can do it.
You can do it. All right, people, it's 42 minutes. Again, we thank you so much for the time and the energy that you have given us. And we hope and pray that everything in your life goes good. And if you need support, help, friends, whatever it is, we are here for you, okay?
We have a guest coming on hopefully the next week.
Yes, I just heard about that good news.
First guest, he's going to be talking about psychedelics. And
we gonna get groovy, baby.
Can't wait to hear what he has to say on those. He's
Yes.
an all-knowing man about the psychedelics, that's for sure.
Absolutely.
So, all right, well, I think that's it for today.
That is it for today, guys. Bye. Lots of love. Peace out.